so my scenario is the football quarterback is complaining of pain in the posterior shoulder. The pain occurs especially after a heavy practice of repetitive throwing. He finds that once he warms up, the pain is less. You suspect that his glenohumeral capsule is lacking proper mobility. What test will you use to confirm this, and what do you think will be the findings on these tests if he has more lateral than medial rotation? Okay, so first of all, what I would do is ask the patient for his history background. So, for example, I would ask which shoulder it is, what his pain level is now that he is seeing me. I would ask if he's hurt his shoulder before, and when he hurts it, when he says he hurts it, does it ever get swollen? And if it does, what does he do to make it better? Does he ice it? Does he drink any medicine or take anything for the pain or swelling? I'd ask him if he ever hears a pop. So he says it hurts when he throws. So yeah, does he hear a pop? I would ask where the most pain is and if it feels unstable. I'd also ask if he plays any other sports just to be sure that they don't contribute to his swelling. And lastly, I'd ask if he has any previous surgeries that would help me make sure, to analyze his problem better. Okay, second, I would do my observation. So for my observation, I will be looking for swelling, bruising, or redness. For example, I'd be making sure that there's nothing out of the normal. Like for example, that there are no bones or tendons that are not in the right place. I'd also be looking if the patient, like for example, if he's holding his shoulder because if it hurts like a specific way, so he won't feel the pain. And yeah, lastly, I'd just make sure that it's normal, like they're equally parallel. Okay, so first of all, I'll do palpation. So for the palpation, we'll be looking at the AC joints and the biceps. So first of all, the AC joint test is good to see that the AC joint is either intact or to see if it's not intact or separated. So first, the first thing I would do is on the patient. Okay, yeah, you can just be right there. So I will hold directly onto the clavicle, like at the end of the clavicle, and for the first thing I do is press down. If it hurts, then this is a sign that they have an AC joint problem. Sorry. Then, if I grab their hand, still holding onto the clavicle, and pull down distally, if she or he had an AC joint separation, then the clavicle would rise up right here, and they would feel pain. Another thing we can do is that while holding the clavicle, we can do a crossover. If you want to, we can do a crossover test, and with that test, that would squeeze the clavicle with the end of the acromion bone. So, like I said, if they feel any pain while you're doing this, then it could say that they have an AC joint problem. Okay, next, the biceps. So with the biceps, I would analyze the biceps to check for irritation over the years. For athletes, it's very common that they have irritational problems because they do work constantly. So I would the first thing I'll do is I'll palpate the biceps on the top, the bicep tendons, and and then I would do movements that would actually wake up the tension. So first, I will ask the patient to resist supination. So I will ask them to put their hand palm up and twist. So palm up, and then I would ask them to twist. So just like that. So with this, the bicep is tense all the way up to the shoulder. If this exaggerates any pain, then it indicates that his biceps are irritated. His or her biceps are irritated. Lastly, we will move on to the special test. So for the special test, we would do active range of motion, passive range of motion, and resistive range of motion. So first we will start off with active range of motion. So first I would ask them to do active flexion. So they would stand in their side view. It'd be side view, arms at the side, and then they bring them up as far as they can. And I think that one's...
Oh, that's
straight.
abduction.
Yeah.
Oh,
So straight,
flexion
yeah.
is...
Yeah. So that is active flexion. And then for extension, they do the same thing, but just bring them as far back as possible. Let me see. That's extension. And then for abduction, it would be the front view. So you'd be like this, the arms that side, and then you pick them up as far as you can. And then for abduction, is also front view, arms that side, and you bring them as far as to the opposite side. And then lastly, horizontal adduction. So they start, facing front view. You pick up your arms at 180, and then you bring them to the middle. Yes. Okay, and those are the tests I would do for active range of motion. And while doing these tests, the patient will let me know if anything is hurting or not hurting. You have to do passive range of motion.